All right. Well, we'll go ahead and enter our nerd news. We got some cool stuff as always. Adnan, if it's cool with you, I want you to take this first piece only because I love the reaction you had out of it. I thought it was so genuine. Do you want to take this first? Our first game piece?
Yeah. Just load the video. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Naughty Dog appears to have accidentally confirmed the existence of The Last of Us 2 during a live stream focused on the upcoming Nathan Drake collection. So during the live stream featuring community strategist Eric Monacelli, writer John Scher, and lead animator Eric Baldwin, Scher seemed to all but confirm a second Last of Us game is indeed on the way. Ooh. So he said, and I quote, "All the facial animations in the Uncharted series were led up. That's a correction, you might have sought that out in your article." And he continues, "And on the first Last of Us," did I say the first Last of Us? End quote. So, though it's not official, if you watch the video, which you can find on YouTube, you've noticed that Scher becomes flustered in a lot of his responses. He keeps repeating and tripping himself over his own words.
Yeah.
It certainly seems like he realized he slipped off.
It's a great video.
So,
it's so genuine. Like, you feel bad for him at one point.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris with this. Like, if you did intentionally, like, reveal it, like, if, it might kind of feel like if I accidentally dropped it, I would just keep going on. Yeah. Because, like, people would think that I just made a mistake, and there's no kind of confirmation. When he watched the video again, you see him, he keeps tripping over himself, his voice starts, like, shaking up, and the other two are just kind of, like, looking at him passively.
They're just chilling, like, dude, come on, shut up.
They're just looking at it like, you're going to lose your job tomorrow morning if you don't stop fucking stuttering. I feel so bad for him. I don't think that it's like a kind of shock value because we obviously know The Last of Us 2 is in development way long ago because Nolan North pretty much flat out confirmed it. Like how Troy Baker tried to clear up the air and was like, you know what, maybe it's not happening. It might not be happening, but if it did, I'd be up for it. But like, Nolan North flat out confirmed it, and obviously he's got close ties with Naughty Dog for a long time now, and I think obviously with Uncharted on, the team will be focusing on because you have to imagine Uncharted 4 is pretty much near completion now. I remember reading something about the motion capture scenes being done for Sully and is it Elena?
Yeah, they had completed those two.
They've done the motion capture for that. So you have to imagine that a big portion of Naughty Dog's team is now working on something else.
Right.
Whilst, like, you have Druckmann, Straley, and, like, probably, like, a large group of people that are focusing on, like, finishing Uncharted 4 off. So, obviously, that team is working on something. And I think, obviously, with Amy Hennig on, you have that kind of, like, that power vacuum. You have that Druckmann and Straley filling in. I think a lot of the projects that follow from Naughty Dog and kind of stem from them too, in terms of, like, story and gameplay and everything else. But and obviously, The Last of Us seems like the most obvious choice for their next kind of like franchise or something along those lines. But watching the video pretty much confirms it. It's hilarious. I think even when I say, "Oh, maybe I wouldn't do this," I think in the situation you're like, "Shit," like kind of like almost like you just dropped like a big bomb. Like, what can you do? But I do feel really sorry for him. But I think obviously it's not like it's not going to be something that people like. Not going to be like blowing their mind over because obviously I think people are well aware of it at this point. That's already in existence.
Yeah, these slips happen. I mean, it's one of those unfortunate things where like like in these live broadcasts or whatever. And this was all for like what is it called? This was all for supporting or promoting Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. So, their minds were probably like, okay, don't reveal anything on Uncharted 3, don't do, or Uncharted 4, don't do this. So, like, the last thing they were thinking was, I'm going to fucking slip up and talk about Last of Us. It just happens, He was just trying to, like, say who this dude was and shit. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel really, really sorry about it. We've talked about this to no end, but in general, I'm very much against a Last of Us sequel. I just don't... I really think what Naughty Dog should do is go back to what they used to do, like how on PS1 they did Crash Bandicoot. They did that IP, and then in PS2 they did Jak and Daxter, and then in PS3 it was primarily Uncharted, and they had that little window where they could do another game, and that's where Last of Us was birthed from. I mean, I don't know. This is a weird time because it's kind of weird now, right, for PS4's era, because they're doing Uncharted 4 first, and this is supposedly the last one, and then now they're going to do a Last of Us sequel. So what's going to be the third game? Like, an entirely new IP? Like, fuck it, 3 different things? So I don't know. That's it's going to be interesting to see how that actually rolls about. But
I think Jack might be on the cards again. I think they're thinking about that.
They bringing that back? Oh man, I would die for another Crash. That would be something I'd be so down for. Like if they made a Crash Bandicoot, like a true Crash Bandicoot 4.
Oh no, not Crash Bandicoot. Jak and Daxter.
No, I know. Like I would.
Oh,
I'm not really.
They won't get Jack. They won't get Crash back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Crash
like
is,
Crash.
No.
The film. They won't get the rights to the film Crash. That's
starring Brendan Fraser.
That was the worst video game adaptation ever, by the way.
Yeah, you just see Kojima's credits roll from the Phantom Pain. Guest starring Sandra Bullock. Guest starring. It's like,
dun, 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 like the fucking music.
It reminds me of my favorite monologue from the Oscars, which was when Jon Stewart hosted. It's like, if anyone here was in Crash, raise your hands.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm very interested by it. I've been very vocal in my opposition to a sequel to Last of Us. I think it was just a great standalone game.
Right.
If they did do it, I'd really want them to go somewhere else, like get out of America, go to Europe, somewhere on the other side of the continent. Different characters, different kind of like story arcs, everything else. I just don't carry on the story arc for Ellie and like Joel. I just think where it was left, that ending was like any writer's wet dream almost. Like kind of like leave it into the kind of like hands of the player, how they perceive it, who's done what happens. You don't need closure on those stories. I think that's what ruins a lot of games and kind of like books and films and everything else, when you add too much clarity behind something. Like some things should always remain a mystery for what they were. It kind of reminds me, because I was watching Scream a few weeks ago, and like, so when Billy says, like, did they ever tell you why there's more behind Hannibal Lecter killing people? And it's like, yeah, they did now. Obviously, Scream is now dated, but it kind of like says it. And then when you know why Hannibal Lecter eats people, it's kind of like, really?
It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, because the character was so psychologically like complex, and the fact that he intentionally wants you to think why, like intentionally wants you to suss out why he kills people or whatever else. Like, there's such a great... Like, for me, I've kind of like buried that in the back of my mind now that I know why Hannibal Lecter kills people. Because it just kind of ruins it.
Just pretend it's not canon. That's the best thing to do,
Well, that's what Kojima likes to do, but...
Portable Ops, never heard of it. Next.
Metal Gear... What? Snake's Revenge? Never heard of it.
What is that? Never. It must have been a old TV movie, right? Next one.
I know that one day in my house I want the picture of Jim where it says Lieutenant Solid Snake is on a mission from Snake's Revenge. I want that hung up in my house one day. It's so bad.
Hashtag never forget.
Hashtag never forget. Next to it is a picture of David Cage smiling.
Smiling through the dark piers of a cage. But yeah, so we'll see how that... I agree with you, dude, on it being a whole new set of characters. I have a feeling it's going to be Ellie and Joel again, sadly, but we'll just have to wait and see how that rolls out. But all right, well, for our final video game news, to wrap up that section, so Nintendo has elected their new president. So, as everyone recalls, or in case you didn't know, sadly, very sadly, not Shigeru Miyamoto, my God, Satoru Iwata passed away earlier this year, leaving Nintendo, presidentless. And so they elected a new president. He's going to have a 1-year term. His name is Tatsumi Kimishima. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And he has been elected for 1 year. He said that he was not given any instructions from the late Satoru Iwata, so nothing left behind or anything like that. He basically said that for now they're going to focus on smartphone and IP related tasks. That won't change. That's where they're heading, and that they want to develop new businesses as well. And he says that he's open to the idea of a company outsider coming in at some point in the future and running the company, which I found was very interesting. And that that's pretty much all that he said. Also, with this announcement, they also said that the Nintendo Directs will continue as well. That those kind of came to a screeching halt in light of Iwata's passing away. He was kind of like the brainchild behind that. And so when he passed away, they stopped doing those. There hasn't been one since I don't remember the last one. I think it was definitely before July. I think it was actually E3. That was the last Nintendo Direct they did. And there hasn't been one since. So that's going to be starting up soon too. I think it's really interesting that this president is talking about how they're open to having outsiders come in and reshaping the company. I really get the feeling that Kimishima is just a temporary president. I really think like Nintendo's like, well, let's give him 1 year term. See how he does and take it from there.
It's kind of like, like almost any kind of like presidency. Obviously, like take the US example. When John F. Kennedy died, Lyndon B. Johnson took over. Constitutionally, it's kind of like filling in that vacuum. He's not elected as leader, but he will like finish off that term. Like maybe it's a year or so. Mm-hmm. I think it's just that kind of plugging in of the power gap because like you kind of want a leader to emerge in the company, and kind of like if there's a temporary figurehead or someone who can like ease the transition to a new. Because you don't really want to put someone straight into it and be like, this is our new leader, he's going to do this is this. And it's kind of like, almost overwhelming. You want someone to plug in the gap first, kind of like take the company over like in the next year or so on like a new course, and then gradually hand over power to a new president who will, start his full term. However, Nintendo does their kind of like, term structures. So I think that's kind of what they're aiming to do. I think like it's not like it's just not making it too high profile at the same time. Yeah. And whoever it is, like if he is acting president, and someone else is like in the background, kind of like emerging as leader, he or she can kind of like start, changing the company. It'd be amazing if it was a she. Like that would be something like.
Oh, I think that'd be huge for Japan as well. I mean, you don't normally see that.
You don't really see female leaders, but can't say I'm gonna I'm too optimistic about that.
I think for now, dude, like the big thing you should take away from, or people should take away from this in general, is that I think this is Nintendo at a transition. Like Iwata was connected to that family that ran Nintendo for such a long time, and he's gone, and I really think Nintendo is like, well, he's gone. Like, we need to, like, transition this company to something for us to survive. Wii U did not do very well. The Wii was almost like a fluke, if you really think about it now, and you really, examine it. And so I think, like, with NX supposedly coming out or being announced next year, I think that this dude is the guy that's going to usher us into that announcement, and he's going to usher us into the company positioning itself to, like what their next gen console is going to be. And then I think at that point they're going to get some new blood. Like they need some new blood in here. Just to kind of like shake it up a bit, take the company somewhere else, like really get it up there. Because Nintendo, like we've talked about countless times on the show, is really lagging behind in the gaming culture. I mean, I don't think I bought anything for my Wii U this year. I think if I end up buying Star Fox Zero, I think that's going to be the only game I will have bought this year. That's bad. That's not good, man. Like, I bought a bunch of other games for PS4 and Xbox One. That's not good at all. So anyway, I tip my hat to him. I hope he does whatever he's meant to do with the company. And, hopefully this will be the start of maybe something nice can come out of something that was so fucking terrible. Iwata's passing. In his passing, maybe the company, something can happen with it. But it's smart that he's not canceling the smartphone things. That's definitely something Nintendo should definitely
cancel. I think you'd open up too many can of worms if you did that. I think they're on a steady course of direction. I think it would be stupid to do something like that. But I think like, they just need to kind of like reassemble itself in like every sector and kind of like create a new vision for the company. I think I'm going to talk like code talker now, but I mean, like, every leader has kind of like a new vision that he wants to kind of unite people behind. Right. He or she wants to kind of like unite people behind and kind of like lead new directions. I think that's the greatest part about any kind of like new blood that you introduce into like a company or kind of like put as a figurehead, because you can kind of change things and kind of like reinvent. Yeah, I mean, Phil Spencer's probably one of the biggest examples as Xbox boss. Like, you know, kind of like, I think he's most relatable, you know, figurehead in such a long time for Microsoft. Like, people love him. I think he's great. Like, he's just a spokesperson and kind of like the face of Xbox. That's what you want. Like a kind of like a new direction for what Xbox is. Because the thing is that, like, obviously look at Xbox, like the direction was, it's going to be very TV-centric, entertainment-based, but then now Xbox has gradually shifted back to kind of like almost aligning with PlayStation, with like the games and the kind of like structure of the Xbox. And at the same time, we're still investing into that kind of new ideas, new plans for the Xbox. But yeah, it's good news to hear. It's good news to hear.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But all right, cool. Let's shift our gears to the rest of our news, our little entertainment section. Oh, excuse me, God, I'm so gaseous today. Second time I burped on the show. All right, so we have some cool movie news here. Dude, if it's cool for you, I'll take this first one since I saw this trailer. So
There you go.
Basically, Disney's 2016 release of The Jungle Book, the live-action adaptation of the film, of the old, you know, cartoon story and all that, they released the first trailer for the film. And I took a shot at it. I looked at it. I think it was earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember. It was pretty interesting. You know, when you hear about who they're casting for the movie, all of them seem pretty, like, you know, hearing that Bill Murray is going to play Baloo the bear, you're like, God, that's a great idea. And, you know, hearing about Idris Elba is playing Shere Khan, great casting. Well, you know, this trailer really centers around the snake Ka, the one that, you know, has the seductive voice and can, like, you know, hypnotize you and stuff. And what's really interesting is Ka is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. They actually switched the gender. Like, now it's a female snake. It's not a male snake anymore, like in the cartoon. And I have to say, Scarlett did a really great job. In the trailer, I think she's the only voice you hear throughout the whole thing. And, like, she does do that seductive, like, hypnotic thing so well. And I believe she's also doing the motion capturing. I think all the animals are being motion captured by the actors. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
she's just in a suit slithering across the floor.
Like, poor woman. Like, you know, like, I'm a snake. Oh, fuck. Like, you know, trying to struggle. It's like being wrapped in, like, a burrito or something.
You see David Hay in the corner like, Colonel, it's Snake. It's like, David, what are you doing? It's like, I'm playing the snake. Is it funny how the snake's called Car, just like a Z?
Car? No, Car.
We could have an entire, like, show of just making jokes of a snake, and also the fact that it's called Car.
But yeah, so the trailer. Oh, and also a lot of the character Mowgli, who's played by Neil Sethi. A lot of him is shown, and he's the only. If I recall correctly, I think I heard this correct from the Disney D23 event. I think he's the only live action actor featured in the film. So it's like this little kid, man, who's like, I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's maybe 10 or something. That's like running around with all these like fantastical elements and CGI and stuff. And I mean, from the trailer, obviously it didn't show a whole lot, but he looks the part. You know, I think, you know, it looks like he's going to do a really good job. So, plus the director, Jon Favreau. I mean, I love Jon Favreau. I mean, obviously, you know, he made Iron Man 1 and 2. He made that Xanthor, I think it was, that weird space movie that was like Jumanji kind of. He's done like a bunch of films, and I think he has like a talent to it. Yeah, it's a really great trailer. I advise you guys to take a look. Very disappointed we didn't hear King Louis as played by Christopher Walken, because that is such an odd casting choice. That was the one, other than Scarlett Johansson, that I thought was like an odd choice. I would have loved to have seen him play King Louis. But yeah, so that's kind of like the whole premise of the trailer, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. It's really interesting alone just for Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, it's sorry, I saw this coming from a mile away. Not Jungle Book, but the fact that they're going to start making more live action adaptations of their, you know, the animation films, because obviously I think the testing round was Cinderella.
Yeah,
I think they really wanted to use that as the kind of like, can this happen? Because I think they would have pulled the plug on the entire kind of like idea.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised it's Jungle Book. especially because, as you said, like that kid is the only actor we see in the trailer. That'll be a tough sell to do because you kind of like placing the entire like burden on this one kid to kind of like bring something out of it.
Like, don't fuck it up, kid. All right, like
yeah. All right, man. At the same time, they have got a great supporting cast. Scarlett Johansson, I agree with you. She's very got a seductive kind of voice behind her, and that kind of like what Car has in Cars. what Car has in like kind of the animated film, which I absolutely adore as well. By the way,
yeah.
And yeah, I agree as well. Like Idris Elba, like as Shere Khan, there's a great kind of casting behind it, and I think obviously this is like the next step for like Disney to kind of really springboard and start making more of these. I still need to watch Cinderella. I've actually have that.
It was pretty good. I took Rebecca out to go see it.
See Frozen Fever.
No. Actually, that was like the cherry on the top. But no, she wanted to see the movie. Oh, Frozen Fever was terrible though. Ugh. But I assure you.
Hey, Chris.
What?
Hey, watch what you say about Frozen.
Dude, you'll see, man. I mean, I love Frozen.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was just whatever. It's what it is. But yeah, the Cinderella film, I agree with you. It was definitely like a little like test run to see, can we do these live action things? And they have a whole bunch of them planned, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if it takes off. And Jungle Book is an interesting take. I mean, what's next? Lion King? I mean, fucking.
Oh,
I don't know.
Let's open up one can of worms at a time.
I would imagine like they would take the safe route and do Aladdin. That would be like a brilliant idea because you could have obviously Genie would be CGI and would be motion capture and all that crap. Oh yeah, that is true. Williams just passed away. That would be something maybe like 5 or 10 years.
It's definitely one of the films that's on there. That's what I thought like would have easily gone before Jungle Book. Kind of like an old school Disney film.
Oh, totally, yeah.
I think obviously like Seven, was it called Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is like kind of like an obvious one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. The dwarves would totally be CGI, sadly.
Yeah,
totally.
Obviously, yeah.
Wow.
Let's get the Hobbits in.
Yeah, yeah, just get
dwarves going to Isengard.
They get they could do that too. Honestly, they could do the whole like, we shrunk them with computer effects or whatever.
Obviously played by Andy Serkis.
Yeah, all of them played by
all Seven Dwarfs.
All voiced in the Gollum voice. It's like the most awkward Disney movie ever made. But
it'd be 6 of them played by Andy Serkis, 1 played by Peter Dinklage. Oh.
And he's the only one that's not CGI with no explanation why.
Just turns up as Pimp Lannister.
Yeah, he just plays the Lannister the whole time. Like, you should get a book to cover your wine. And then just walks away. But yeah, so I agree with you. I'd be very much interested to see how this takes off, especially, the boy being the only, main person in there. That's a big task for any child actor. But yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully it turns out to be a decent picture, as they say in the 1930s. But dude, would you like to take this last movie piece?
I will. It's straight one. If you get my joke,
yeah,
I'll leave it at that. So, The Rat brings word directly from Toronto International Film Festival, where Mean Girls and True Detective star Rachel McAdams has confirmed she will star in Marvel's Doctor Strange. McAdams was previously unsure of her involvement, saying she didn't know if talks would, quote, go anywhere at all, end quote. It's still unclear what the role of McAdams will play in the film, but sound off with your own theories below. That's the art say. Scheduled to hit theatres on November 4th, 2016. Doctor Strange is scripted by John
Spates? I guess Spates?
It's scripted by John and directed by Scott Derrickson. That
John guy. He's cool.
I feel so bad when I can't say someone else's name, and I kind of get really angry when people can't say my own name, because I'm down the phone, it's like, it's Adnan. But yeah, it said to follow the story of neurosurgeon Dr. Stephen Strange, who's played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who, after a horrific car accident, discovers the hidden world of magic and alternate dimensions.
That's actually like I know nothing about Doctor Strange, like his origins. I know about the character a bit because I read Spider-Man, so I know he popped up a bunch. But that sounds so cool. I really can't wait for this movie. I love Cumberbatch, man. That guy is like the fucking shit. And plus, I mean, they have some really cool actors. Tilda Swinton is in it. She's playing the Ancient One, and I can't pronounce his name, but she would hell.
Shuhei Yoshida.
Yeah, I can't say. Oh, I hate. Same thing, dude. I hate it when I can't pronounce names. But this other actor, I forgot his name. Brilliant fucking actor. He was in Serenity. He played the main bad guy. Great guy. He's playing actually the main villain in the movie, Baron Mordo. It looks great. I really think this is going to be like. This is going to be badass, man. This is going to be really cool.
It's going to be cool. McAdams is an interesting casting. I mean, like Mean Girls. That article's like Mean Girls star Rachel McAdams. Like, yeah.
It reminds me. The first idea I got was, oh man, she's going to be like the anchor in this movie, kind of like how what's her face, Natalie Portman was the anchor in Thor. Like Thor was, like Asgardians and like that magical, mystical realm. But there's like her. She was like the scientist and stuff. Anchored the movie down. I think McAdams is going to be like that anchor as well. Like she's going to be basically the audience, so to say. So yeah, it's cool. I think that's really neat that she's confirmed for it. That's definitely going to draw in people that might otherwise not have been intrigued with Doctor Strange. So like I know.
No, I definitely agree. I think they just need a cameo appearance from J.K. Simmons after the credits. Doctor Strange. It's good, but it's taken.
That's the whole scene. They just show the scene from the Spider-Man 2 movie and just...
well, what way to end it? It's taken. Die.
That just fades to black. That's it. Like, no point.
And then the background just there. Really, like, faint in the background. It's like... Right, okay.
And then people, like, it sparks, like, debates on the internet. People are like, hey, wait a minute, that must be canon. It's all connected. Hashtag.
It's all Bioshock. It's all Bioshock.
Yeah.
There's a lighthouse out there, Chris. But yeah, it's an interesting casting. Look forward to seeing a first trailer from the movie. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch as Strange. As I said, I really don't know much about the background, the background behind Doctor Strange, but it's kind of like Ant-Man now. These kind of films are slowly becoming reality. Films and heroes and anti-heroes, like, just people and characters you wouldn't expect to like come to life is very interesting. Attracts me more towards the comic book universe and the comic book film universe as the ones that I haven't seen the origin stories.
Right.
And like kind of real coherent, structured story and film. So definitely interested in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more interesting than seeing, like, Spider-Man's origin for a third fucking time, Like,
yeah, I mean, like, we get great power comes with great responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.